Hello, everybody, and welcome to the no longer hashed podcast. It's the actual 10th episode, and we have a guest today. It's our one and only producer. And the first question to our one and only producer is, how do we say your name?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say it whatever way you like to.
Well, but we'll say it the way you say it.
I say Sikander.
Okay, so we got our producer Sikander.
I can't pronounce it like that. Okay. I just want to say it.
Just think of knekkebrød and then Sikander.
Very good. That's spot on.
What's the problem with you, Jeff? Try it.
Sikander.
Yeah,
That's
good.
fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay.
I just woke up. So, Fia Jeff, why don't you want to deploy podcasting 2.0 for this podcast?
Did I say that?
Well, you implied it, so
Yeah. I just don't like the idea. Really, I've talked about this many times, and now I forgot all my arguments, what they were. So I just don't like the idea that people keep pushing tipping as if that was Bitcoin's main utility. Like, oh, I'm going to give money to my friends, and I think that's stupid.
how is it sending like you're not it people
Like,
paying for a podcast? Those people are not your friends, Fia Jeff.
yeah, but I just mix it up two things. But there, people do mix these things. Like they say, oh, I want to have an address so people can send me money. But this is not a common thing. Like Bitcoin shouldn't be marketed as if it was solving the problem of sending money to people. It's what Bitcoin does.
What's that?
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
Because
Bitcoin is made for buying things and paying for things, not sending money like in a generic way. Like
but
that's what I'm saying.
but when you're when you're buying things,
Yeah,
or
in a way,
you
yeah.
are sending money. Sikander, what's your opinion on podcasting 2.0?
Yeah, I don't really use it that much yet. I think it's fine.
Do you use an app to listen to podcasts?
No, I've used Albe once to get the boost on one Linux podcast, but that's about it.
Don't you use Antenna Pod or something like that? Spotify
No,
or whatever
I
crap
just
people.
use Pocket Cast. I think is the best. That works well for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
I'm crazy. I just download the MP3s.
Really?
Yeah, or go
Yeah.
to the website.
I use it to download the MP3s, then put them on my phone, and then listen to them using an audiobook thing, a program that was made to listen to audiobooks.
Yeah, that's
And then I
basically
realized
that's
that
basically
Antenna Pod is much better than the program made to listen to audiobooks that I thought was great. Sorry, what did you say?
no. That was basically what I did with this podcast because you didn't have a feed. I had to make it myself.
We're now also hosted on the podcast.indoor in podcasting.index.org
Really?
thing. Yeah.
Well done.
We're not hosted. Like they have a link there, right?
Well,
And
okay. Yeah,
apparently because of that, we show up in searches in these podcast apps.
so they're not hosting the files. It's like it's the it's an RSS index. So they're hosting our index RSS reference thingy.
Who is hosting the files? Sikander is hosting in his computer, in his home.
Yeah, second, how does the system even work? Because you build it.
No,
I have no clue.
I actually didn't build anything. I just put some elements together that someone else built, and then put your files on it.
Why are we having these
That's called.
silly? Why are
That's
we
what's
having
called.
these silly semantic discussions? It's like Bitcoin's not for sending money; it's for payments. And it's like I didn't build anything; I just put stuff together. What the fuck's going on?
Someone's building a house. No, they're not. They're just putting together, putting stuff together. Okay.
Okay.
Why is the game not started yet?
Okay. Yes, I'll
If the
start the
game
game.
if
Oh,
the game is going to last 3 hours, you should have
yes.
started it.
Yes, that's true. So last week we talked about used map setting games, and I think I'll have to explain because there's a lot going on. So the game is called Knights of the Kings. It's this RPG thing, and here's the first screen where the person selects their character, and they selected a mage. I think they're alone. I don't think. Oh, they're doing it on their own. Normally, you play this multiplayer. Um, but he's like, I'm a beast. I'm going to do this alone. This was the first thing that I could find a recording of.
So you have to control a bunch of things in your base,
No,
and
you
people.
you only control like the one unit.
Mm.
See these are he's casting spells.
So that it's like Dota.
No, it's not Dota. It's yeah.
It's like
Okay,
Dota.
yeah, it's like Dota, but it has a story, right?
Mm.
So apparently he has some golem that works for him. That's the Archon. He probably is able to control that. And there's all these explosion animations that spells, right? There's this random mutalisks fly around. It's very chaotic. But this is like a good example of what they were able to build, completely taking apart the engine and then putting it back together.
Yeah,
I find, I
a
find
lesson in how to waste your time.
no, because I think the best lesson to waste your time is shit. What was it? Um, it was something I saw this week where it was like, that's amazing, but it's also extremely retarded. Oh, Tetris. Yeah. Did you have you seen professional Tetris before?
No.
So it's like Nintendo Entertainment, the NES Tetris, and apparently a few years ago they figured out a new technique in order to input commands on the original controller because you have to tap it really fast in order to move it left or right, especially on the later screens because it's going really fast. So if you want to be able to put it left or right, you have to tap really fast. The max input frequency is 30 hertz, and if you want to hit that, they found a method where you take the controller, you put your finger on the button, and instead of pushing the button, you like how do you describe like scrape your fingers on the button of your other end on the bottom of the controller, like you're petting it or something, but really fast, and that those little bumps produce the actual like inputs for the it looks so retarded. They came out with it a couple of years ago. And these people they play 40-minute Tetris games just to get new records and stuff. I
Well,
guess
I just typed
that's
professional Tetris on YouTube, and I got two guys playing on Nintendo, like the NES
hmm
consoles.
how would you describe it what they're doing with the controller?
Uh, I, I I don't know. That to me, it looks normal.
Okay, they're not doing
The game
the
is not very fast either.
okay, then they're not really good.
It's the World Championship,
Oh.
classic Tetris. Maybe you watched some other Tetris. What the
Do you
hell?
watch any speedruns, Sikander?
Some analysis of some speedruns once in a while.
What's speed run? I don't even know. Okay, I'm looking speedrun Tetris now.
What was the last
Oh,
one did you watch? I like those. There are some good YouTubers that make videos on speed runs, and like it's like a history channel on this completely useless autistic
Yeah,
phenomena.
yeah. I think I've seen what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's
Tetris.
great.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
okay. I don't know what you're talking about, so I'll just change the topic and talk about Bitcoin, which is the best topic.
But you can't
Because
just say Bitcoin. You have to introduce
yeah, I'm going
something
to think
specific.
about something. Ordinals. What do you think? Well, we should just ask Sikander about all the things we've talked about on this podcast.
Okay, no. First, I want to ask Sikander is like, why did you even bother to become our official producer?
Uh, yeah, that's a good question.
Okay, next question.
No, I basically wanted to listen to what you had to say, but I didn't want to listen on YouTube, so I had to find a solution.
Yeah,
So that's basically it.
be the change you want to see or something like that.
Exactly.
So apparently, the unhashed podcast guys made a episode last
Yeah,
week.
yeah, they
Yeah.
felt threatened by us.
Yes, they didn't even mention us.
Yeah, they're complete assholes.
They
Yeah.
they talked about ordinals like a week late.
A week, like a
Yeah,
month later,
yeah. Okay.
a month after. Ordinals is not even being used anymore, and they were like, "Oh, ordinals."
Yeah,
And the,
it's dead, right?
yeah, and they just repeated all the shit people were talking like, "Oh, you can't use blockchain for other purpose. I'm stupid," something like that, ignoring all the arguments that people do have against ordinals that make sense. And Ruben Sonson didn't even try to argue against them. What did you think about that, Sikander?
Yeah, I don't know if I really care. I think it's interesting that the blockchain is being used for something. I think
No,
that's good.
I mean the Unhash podcast. Did you listen to the Unhash podcast?
I haven't listened to everything of the last episode yet. Still have to finish it.
Hmm. You're not losing much.
Yeah, for this is so much better.
Well, they do have an intro song, so that's something we still have to do.
No way.
Oh,
We should not.
we can start a boy band, Fiat Jeff.
Okay. We should put some bar.
You can can you rap? Because then you can do the rapping part.
What's the rapping part?
I'll do the soul and R&B bit, and then you come in with the rap lyrics.
You're gonna do a rap over bar?
Yes, you are going to do the rap over Bach.
Okay, I can go to a bar and do something there. Well, so
We
I
really
saw
don't have anything to talk about.
I saw a video today
Okay.
with Artosis talking about how StarCraft 2 is going to die.
Oh,
And some
I did see. Also, it's not. Didn't see the Artosis video, but I saw. Is it about the prize pool money?
yeah, prize pool money, and then he said some StarCraft 2 players are already playing both games because they're thinking about switching to StarCraft 1.
Interesting. So, before we broach that topic, Sikander, do you know any StarCraft? Did you play any StarCraft?
Yeah, I played when I was a teen, I think last time. So it's a while ago.
Okay,
And
you good. You'll be a good match against me. We should play live.
Sounds good.
did you? What race did you play?
Probably Protoss.
Oh, so boring.
Yeah, but
But it's so bad.
they look cool, so.
Yeah, I also play with that crappy race.
Okay, but so the pro scene. So to explain, apparently the prize pool for the new pro season is significantly smaller, and they're not going to do a bunch of live events anymore, from what I understand. And this is StarCraft 2. So, but you said that they are now intending to switch to Brute War.
Yeah, some players are already playing Brood War. Playing
That's
both.
interesting. So then, that suggests that Brute War is going to survive StarCraft 2 eventually.
Yeah, and then Arthur said that when that Stormgate game come out, he said StarCraft 2 will die completely,
Yeah,
and some people will migrate to Stormgate and others to StarCraft 1.
that's also I had in mind. It's like because this maybe they're sorting themselves for the fact that Stormgate's coming up. When is that supposed to come out? This
Hmm.
year or?
I don't know. I'm not following that stuff.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, but I think from the amount of talks about it, maybe this year, I guess.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Do
Did,
do
did
do
you
you
bring
have
any
any?
topics, Sikander?
Yeah, please. Do you have any topics?
Well, I have a meta question about drive chain, but I don't know if you actually want to talk about it.
No,
Go
that's
ahead.
a forbidden topic
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Go ahead. It's desperate times.
The question is basically, why don't you want to talk about drive chain constant?
Oh, I don't because I think every notion of side chains is I already explained this in the podcast, but the so I think every notion of side is not interesting to me
Hmm.
because the it ultimately what you're trying to do is expand global state, and I don't think that necessarily works. So I'm much more interested in what you can actually do to leverage the global state that we have. Um, Instead
Well,
of trying to make this separate thing.
if you do a
You don't.
separate thing and you hash stuff there and put it on the Bitcoin chain, you'll be leveraging the Bitcoin stake.
Yes, so that's fine, right? So the fact that you're so making a timestamp server, that's
Yeah,
fine. But then you're also just putting a hash somewhere in the chain every so often.
yeah,
Um, but
You
then
don't.
but that's
You,
not but timestamp servers don't pertain to like um solve all the problems in Bitcoin and kill all the altcoins, etc. I don't know what the thing with Paul's salvation of Bitcoin in via drive chains thing stuff. Like I'm not buying it. So that's the reason. And well, that's part of the reason. The other part of the reason is that Fiat Jeff is on this crusade in order to shill drive chains to the world.
I've stopped my crusade. Like I have phases, and I get bored about it. Like so, I stop talking about it. But people think I am in a permanent crusade. But the next phase will come. I bet sometime in the future.
Well, the ordinal stuff kind of took the wind out of your sails, I think.
No, I wasn't getting anywhere. Yeah, I don't think I was going to get anywhere. Drive chain also has some phases in which people attack it in public and say shit, and other people say, "Oh, what's this? I had never heard about it," but it doesn't make very large strides, I guess. Something else has to happen if it's going to ever be considered. I don't know what.
Um, I guess simplicity, right? Because then you can just build the. Well, if there are sufficient opcodes in there, you can build it regardless, despite of the BIP 300 stuff, specific things, right?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe, yeah, there are some alternative drive chain constructions that I haven't looked into very much. There's one that's interesting with the any Prevault
Mm-hmm.
fork from Jeremy Rubin, your idol. Have you seen that? Have you seen that, Sikander? The what's it called? Spook chains. Have you seen that?
I think I've heard a little bit about it, but I haven't gone deep into it.
I think it's something that Constant would like because he likes this contracting stuff. Because you do some crazy street sounds. No, you do some you do some crazy counting. Like you him Jeremy Rubin came up with a way of to increment a counter inside the Bitcoin script using NPR Vault. And then something I don't understand, you get drive chain with that.
Hmm.
I have to get back to that. Maybe it's a good idea.
At least we got something to talk about. If at that point, that's good. I listened to the MVK podcast. What is it? It's Bitcoin Review, I think.
Bitcoin review, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good podcast. What do you think of Bitcoin Review? I think it's one of the best podcasts out there.
Yeah, maybe it's the second best after this one.
Yeah, sure, obviously.
But you're asking our guest. Yes, please answer. Our guest doesn't hasn't listened to that.
Yeah, I'm unsure. I don't think I have.
Okay, so
What?
it's a podcast made by MVK, the CoinKite dude.
Mhm.
And what's really good about it, it's that he invites a couple of people.
He's
So then,
Brazilian, you know. So the two best podcasts have Brazilians in them.
ah, and then that's a very unfortunate for the rest of the world because your accent and his accent is like terrible.
I like his. I understand everything he says.
No, it is. He invites a couple of people from within the space, so developers and stuff. And then they have a panel. It's more like a panel, and that they discuss a topic, and it works really well because like then they're able to. Jesus Christ. What? I said, like your living conditions are such a fucking mystery to me. Do you,
I
what was
generally,
that?
I generally, it was a motorbike. I generally mute myself, but I left this one for your enjoyment.
Is there a street going through your living room? Is that what's going on?
It's over my house.
I even forgot what I was talking about.
Post Sztorc.
Has he been on the? I don't think he's been on that podcast before. I'm not sure. I haven't listened to all of them, but I really like the format. Just take a couple of knowledgeable
I,
guys
I
and then
I thought you were
hash
going
out.
to speak about something specific,
Yeah,
but you
I
did
am.
not.
I'm working towards it. So
Okay.
what they I think it's 2 days ago they had one about Bitcoin development
Hmm.
and
I downloaded that to listen, but then I
ah
deleted it because there were too many things to listen. So I thought, oh, this one is boring, so I'll delete it. But yeah, go on.
So what I was gonna ask is like, Sikander, what do you think of our philosopher king developer overlords?
I would hope we would have another way to do it, but that's best we have for now.
I think we should have multiple. Yeah, I don't know if it's terrible. It's a terrible idea to have multiple implementations and people switching in between them. But I think that our philosopher kings are all dead now because Mr. Craig Wright open a big lawsuit against everybody. Have you seen that? I think it happened in the last 3 hours while you were sleeping.
Really?
Yeah, and Sikander is in a vacation in Italy, so he didn't see anything either. And
I basically almost saw a little bit about it, but I've also seen that last few months a lot of core developers has published that they're leaving. I don't know if that's a
So
good thing.
what are the updates in the England Craig White case, VHF?
I'm I also don't know exactly. I just saw some
Christ,
things.
this is
I
so
think
terrible.
if you Google if you Google, you see something like he opened a court case against a bunch of these famous developers, Greg Maxwell, Peter, whatever,
Uh-huh.
and like also against Blockstream, the block company from Jack Dorsey, Chain Code Labs, a bunch of stuff.
This is like
May-
this
Maybe
is the
this is
worst
old
episode.
news.
This is the worst
Yeah,
episode we've
let's
made
just
this
end
far.
now. Let's just end
No,
now.
but it's like I feel so bad for Sikander. It's like I'm sorry, dude. Maybe another time because this is not
Well,
going
it's his
anywhere.
fault. It's his fault. He's not bringing any topics.
No, but that's the problem. Like he's okay. So he's a Nordic, right? He's not
Mhm.
gonna do. Not gonna say anything sensational. He's not gonna take some strong stance. He's gonna say, "Yes, it's like this, but it's also like that, and then we get in the middle." That's just what they do. You can't
Yeah,
expect him to rile up anything.
with that rant, you just made the episode 2 times better. Do more of these. Like people like these things.
It gets the people going.
Yeah, more circus.
So,
Okay,
where do you live? You don't have to say specific, but generally.
Well, it,
Europe.
yeah, well, in Norway, very far north.
Oh, so so how far north? Like how many hours of sunlight do you get right now?
Right now, it's more or less normal, uh, 12 hours up and down, but in the middle of winter, we don't get the sun at all. But we
That's
get the
crazy.
northern lights.
And then in summer you don't have any night at all. Is that the
Yeah, that's right.
interesting?
We have the midnight sun.
Interesting. That's disturbing.
How do you deal with that? Because I like over here I already think during the winter it's already annoying the fact that you go out to work or to school or whatever in the dark and then you be there the entire day and then you go back home and then it's already dark. I hate
Yeah,
that.
I love it. I enjoy the darkness, and also the nature is amazing up there, so it's worth it.
What are the temperatures like?
The coldest can be down to minus 10 degrees Celsius, but it's close to the sea, so it's usually not that cold.
Oh, that's interesting. So you got about the same climate as we do, I
Yeah,
guess.
but if we travel inland and towards
Oh,
Finland,
sure.
it
Yeah,
gets much colder very fast.
interesting. So are you that north that are you above the part where it's separated by water? Are you in Lapland? Is that where you are?
Yeah, I'm above the polar circle.
You live there?
Yes, and I love it.
Did you
You should.
move there? Were you born there?
No, I moved there. I grew up in Oslo. You should
What
come
what
and visit sometime.
what made you go there?
I was with my girlfriend in Singapore while she studied for a semester, and when she was done there, we talked about moving somewhere completely different. So she tried to get a job She applied for jobs all over the world, and then she got a job there, so we moved there. That's
Uh,
basically it.
and what kind of work do you do?
I'm an IT consultant.
And you work from home remotely?
Yeah, but I also can work locally.
But I
You're
heard
asking for too many things. He doesn't want to review all these things. You're just grilling the guy and making him review all his life.
I just find it fascinating that somebody willingly moves up there.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
you have to experience it. It's hard to understand before you have lived it.
well, I can understand you. I sort of live the same life. I don't heat my home, right? So I live. I don't know what it's five centigrades outside, so it's probably 8 inside.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't. I get it, but still, I would understand if you were born there and then you didn't live there, but actively
Well,
going there, it's funny. But do you intend to stay there or move to someplace else
yeah,
after a while?
yeah, we just bought a house there, so we
Oh,
intend to stay there.
very interesting.
But
I
I
also
look
don't hit my house, just so you know.
at what temperature do you get?
The hottest one, uh,
Uh,
40 Celsius.
Jesus, what's the humidity there? Are you anything close to the sea or not? Or
No, no, not very close to the sea. But don't ask me any questions. Uh,
I try to keep it vague. Brazil is like a giant fucking country, by the way. It's like, oh, you live, you're doxxed. We know that you're living close to the sea.
well, there are not many. Well, I can't live inside the jungle, so that takes a huge part of the country for me. Okay, go on with your guest greeting. Question.
Well, there are two languages in Norway, aren't there? Generally,
yeah, officially there's two, yeah, but also a lot of dialects.
yeah. But you grew up in the south, and now you went to the north. So I reckon they speak the other language there, right?
Yeah, but it's basically the same language. There are very few variations between them, so it's easy to understand.
Because from what I understand, there was this study on the differences between the two in perception, and based on ice hockey, and on the commentary of the so they listened to the commentary of the same game, but by different commentators, one from the northern part and the other from the southern part,
Mm.
where the commentary was based more focused on the one, I think, on the southern part there it was more focused on where the position of the puck is, and then on the or sort of in the northern one it's what's the position of the puck, and then in the southern one it's more the position of the players. Do you know
Mm.
about this?
No, I never heard about that.
Hmm.
I've heard people talking about the northern dialect or language being more poetic, but that's about it.
Hmm. So why did you if you're on vacation now, right?
Yes.
So why did you move south for your vacation if you like it up there north?
Uh, Long story, but we basically had to drive down last summer, uh, so we didn't use the plane tickets.
Ah, so you still have them left.
Yeah,
I see. How long was your flight?
Really, really, you're going to ask these questions?
Yes, I'm
You can calculate how long the flight takes.
I have no perception of how long flights are because I don't fly on planes.
From
And I
there
don't
to
have
Brazil
I
it's 16 hours. No, not 16 hours. 20 hours, right? From whatever you are to Brazil. I think it is. I think it's 20 hours.
Sounds about right. I don't have any topics for you, Jeff. I'm trying to.
I wanted to ask our guest if he's a Keynesian. Keynesian. I don't know how to say this. Are
Keynesian.
you Keynesian? Are you?
I love to trigger maxes with that. I have it in
Yeah,
my.
I felt very triggered. So it's just fake.
Well, it's partly to trigger maxis, but it's also kind of that I find it interesting that Keynes proposed Bancor that has a couple similarities with Bitcoin.
Explain.
Well, I don't remember it completely now, but
I was like, finally, more than a half hour into this, we finally have a topic we can discuss, and then this is like,
well, he basically had an idea instead of going to the dollar base value to have a combined value between different states. So that's the gist of it.
okay, and how is that similar to Bitcoin?
All the states, I really don't remember, but it was something about how they decided about money printing and stuff like that. It was combined, so it had a couple of similarities, but not super.
I still don't see it.
It's just not controlled by one state, right? That's I
Yeah.
think that's the idea. But Keynes was an evil person, like with evil goals and an evil mind.
Did you read? Where did you get that from? From Savin's book, or?
Yeah, there's a Rothbard book called Keynes the Man, in which he attacks Keynes, the entire book, about from all the angles possible. It's a very good book. But yeah, Safedin, I think he drank a lot from that book. I didn't read Safedin's book. Did you? Never mind.
No, I didn't care about that book.
Did you guys read any Bitcoin books?
I haven't.
No, I don't think I have.
Did you?
I only read Mastering Bitcoin.
I read one chapter of that to understand one thing that I didn't.
Yeah, so it's not really a book you read, but I don't read anyway, so that's how that goes.
So, Sikander, have you heard about a thing called Liberstad?
Yes.
What is
I
that?
know a little bit. It's a small commune in the south of Norway. It's,
And do you like that? It's a good thing. What they're trying to do that? Do you know
I
the
don't
people from there?
I don't know if they will be able to do what they want to do, but it's good
And
for them.
what is it that they want to do?
They want to start a new state in the middle of Norway.
Based on what?
Freedom and libertarian ideals.
Like, why though? I mean, you're inside Norway. You guys are probably the richest motherfuckers out there.
Yeah.
Everything already works. You got a shit ton of money. It's like, why? What's the problem?
Why do you think Norway is so different from this country we live in? I forgot the name.
Because we wasted our gas money, and
It is not we. It's some people that are not.
Norway didn't.
You're not part of that. Okay, so go on.
I don't think that it's very different. I think it's only for like slight geographical reasons, and then, but from a cultural perspective, we're probably not that autistic. So, but what I'm hinting at is like we could have been Scandinavia as well, but we're not.
Hmm.
I guess we're not autistic enough to be considered Scandinavians from a cultural perspective.
What do you think about that? Did you watch that Hash podcast episode in which they asked Ruben what countries were had borders with Netherlands, and he
Yes.
asked if he asked if England counted. And do you think England counts, Constant?
Yes, we border with England because it's a canal, right? It's not a sea.
Really? It's not a sea? Of course it is a sea.
Yeah, the North Sea is a sea. I don't even sure if we hit the canal. I think in Zealand. So, but the canal is not a sea. So it used to be attached by land when the water level was a bit lower. You could walk.
When? When was that? When you were a kid?
A very 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 long time ago, like a zillion years ago. I don't know.
Well, a zillion years ago. In that case, Brazil was attached to Africa.
Oh, also, yeah. That's right. So you're basically African. That's what that's where we're going at.
Yes. What do you think of the term the global south?
Who are you asking?
You two. You two who are Europeans, privileged people.
I don't know what it even means.
So it's like a new way to define. It's another term for like third world countries, because third world country is very Cold War specific, and so basically they need to come up with all these new terms every time and again in order to define non-Northwestern European people, Northwest European people.
I think they just mean poor countries.
Yes,
Right?
that's the same thing. I'm saying. It's like,
No, because they include Australia in the northwestern countries, which makes no
yes,
sense.
but who colonized Australia, VHF?
Well, the same people who colonized Brazil and Africa.
Yeah, but okay, but there were not enough, I guess.
There were not enough what?
There are not enough Northwest Europeans there in order to make it work. There are too many other people.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Anyway, I just think it's very insulting to use geographic things instead of just saying poor countries. That's what they want to say. But apparently, saying poor countries is seen as bad, or
No, you
and then
should say
they come up with
you should say shithole countries.
yeah, that's even better.
Yeah.
That's better than global south. What the hell?
But I think it's fascinating that we got to modernity and then exported it all over the world, and then things got fucked up real bad, I guess, everywhere. But hopefully better than they were before. I don't know.
Yes, it's definitely better.
Now
Well,
you have street sounds. Where you're recording.
yeah. Before, if the Europeans had never gotten here, I would be an Indian talking in a podcast again with in the middle of a jungle, right?
Now there are also dogs. It's not just cars.
Yeah. I've turned down the dog sounds now.
You have.
Meanwhile, the autistic guy is still playing, like creating a bunch of spell. What the hell? I'm going to turn this off.
Yeah. So to go back to the game, so he's like conquering the map, right? So there's a story. Unfortunately, it's in Korean, so we can't read any of it. But it's basically it's an RPG. It's a kingdom, and there's an evil wizard or something that took over the lands, and he's slowly cleansing the lands of the evilness of the evil wizard, and there are like mini bosses and stuff, and he keeps getting stronger, and he's liberating towns. Okay, that's about it.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
It's frustrating that I can't come up with anything interesting to talk about. It's so annoying.
Well, didn't you get the Optech newsletter? There's nothing there, right?
Yeah, but I looked at the last three and I was like, okay, there's no inspiration here,
Um,
unfortunately. What about Bitcoin excites you, Sikander?
It's basically about time that money production got some competition, basically.
what do you think should happen for Bitcoin to succeed? Or do you think Bitcoin has already succeeded and all people should do is hold their coins and go to sleep?
I think both is true. I would.
Hmm.
I think it would be great to have something like drive chain, especially to get Futarchy going. But the chain works pretty well as it does. So
Can you explain for Turkey to constant? Do you know what's that constant?
Just let him explain.
it's basically a betting market to influence policy, more or less.
You're not going to ask any questions, Constant. Did you
No,
understand
it's
what I'm
like
saying?
yes, but the thing. So I don't get this. It's like a strange market fetishism. It's you. So the reasons markets even work is because there is this state above it. You need a state in order to have to have a market.
We're not talking about eliminating the state now. You can guard all these arguments. Like the idea here is that you create a prediction market,
Yes,
and the prediction market aggregates all the information, and
yes,
from
but I don't.
that information is used by your dear politicians to make the best decisions.
Yes, but I'm skeptical in terms of these betting markets, right? Because
What
they're
part?
because markets are finicky in the short term. So the reason that they work, they're like an epistemological method in order to gauge reality, let's say. But they only do so as a mechanism. They do that in the long term. They don't do it in the short term. They're very volatile in the short term. But you take the volatility in the short term just because it's ultimately the best method that we have in order to gauge complexity in the mid to long term. So I think it's a misapplication of the markets as a mechanism to to say is like, okay, this one specific thing in the short term, we use it in order to as a basis for decision making, because there are these various methods that you can influence what's going on in a market in the short term, right? You're in, so maybe not in prediction markets, but in general, it's like examples are you're cornering a market, uh, for example. That's what if you're in a powerful enough position, you're able to corner a market. You might not be able to sustain such a position in the long term, right? But then a lot of this libertarian market, this is the interesting part, is that a lot of this libertarian market thinking, they don't necessarily take time scales into consideration, because they have this reasoning. It's like, yes, but it will even out. It's like, yes, okay, it might even out, but if it will even out in a period of 80 years, then that means an entire generation of people is fucked, right? So um yeah, I don't necessarily like I think prediction markets are stupid. That's
But you
that's
didn't. Your argument was entirely based on things that are not prediction markets, right? You just said maybe not in prediction markets.
no.
So how can
So
you use that?
you're not able to corner a prediction market necessarily because there's nothing to corner, right? You
Hmm.
maybe you can corner the bookie. I don't know. I mean, prediction markets are fugazi, right? They're not in relation to anything concrete. It's like it's going to be head or tails, right? Place your bets going to be head or tails.
No, that's not. That's just a random bet. Predictor markets is betting on stuff on real events, right? Did you
Yes,
get that
flipping
part?
a coin is also a real event. I mean,
Okay,
what's
but
the
no one wants to bet on that. But you can bet. You can bet on the most stupid example is who which president is going to win the election,
yeah.
and then you can do a condition, and you can bet that if President A wins the election, the economy improves, or if President A wins the election, the economy goes worse, and you can from these you can generate four outcomes from that. One with the President A winning the election, the other with the President B winning the election, and economy improving or getting worse. And from that, you know what's the best president, right? So you can vote better. You don't have to. Does that make any sense for you or not?
I don't see it as a. I don't even see it as a another method of voting necessarily. Okay, so
Yeah, yeah, that's a stupid example, but
it's like a more it's more like a replacement of war, right? So you're replacing war and violence via uh, um, this mechanism. So
no, yeah, yeah, no.
instead of having skin in the game in terms of an army, like we're gonna battle this shit out and determine reality. You're gonna do it based on money, right? So who's got the biggest wallet, and we're gonna battle it out, and then the winner is able to take the stuff from the loser, right?
No, that's not at all what's going to happen here. What's happening is people will bet on what they think will happen. They will not bet on what they want to happen. Because if they bet on what they want to happen and they are wrong about what they want, they will lose all their money. So they won't do it.
Yes, but you said you're gonna make the decision making based on what the bet is.
No, I'm not going. I didn't say that. I said
So then
that
the actual
serves
bet
to
is going
orient.
to
I served.
yes, but
I
if it
said,
serves to orient, then you're still then you can force reality based on the bets you make.
well, if President A is said by the all the knowledge in society condensed in this prediction market says that President A is bad. You can't force President A to be good, or if you can, like if you President A wins and then it proves to be good, that's good, right? Good for society. But people that bet that he was going to be bad lose the money. But yeah, that you didn't force anything. You just the reality just happened. I'm terrible at explaining.
Yeah, apparently. I still don't get it. Other than I still don't get it why it's not. I mean, just so you're because also it's like okay, how are you gonna define good or bad, and how are you
Yeah, yeah,
gonna
that's another question. But you can define very narrow, specific events.
yes, and then
You
you're able
can
to game
define that.
those. Yes, and then you're able to game those metrics, right? If
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
in
Ideally, you should do things that you can't game.
yes, but that there is nothing you can game everything except violence. That's the reason why Bitcoin that's the
Well,
reason why we
I
have
know.
proof of work
Okay,
because
okay, but
there's you can't game
but you don't have to
philosophy.
do a thing that is perfect. You just have to be a little better than what is today.
Yes, but there even force is
For,
not perfect.
for example, there's a uh, some commenter, like some political commenter or economic commenter,
Yeah.
saying stupid shit on TV or whatever,
Hmm.
influencing people. If the thing he's saying will happen is the opposite of what the prediction market is telling everybody, everybody knows what the prediction market is saying, and the prediction market has proven itself to be very very good over the time. Then the guy who's talking shit will have to shut up, and people will asking, why do you think that? And you should bet if you're really sure the prediction market is wrong, you should bet your money there instead of talking shit on TV, and that will have a very strong psychological effect on society for the better. I think. Does that make sense?
So now but in that case, the money is deciding the reality, right?
How?
Well, because you said it's like, well, we respect the gods of the prediction market. So now that the prediction market is saying this one thing, the other guy has to shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
Yes. So you're judging. Yes. So now
The guy has to shut the fuck up, or he can earn a lot of money if he's right.
okay. Yeah, like I said, I think it might be it's interesting from the fact that you're replacing warfare. So instead of raising armies, you're placing bets, and that's so your skin in the game is financial instead of physical,
I don't see how that could be the case.
and then you're still and then depending on whose god is the real god, right? Um, that's the group that wins, and then he's able to take that group is able to take the stuff from the other group.
Sikander, do you think I did a good explanation here? A good job explaining this, or was
Yeah,
very bad?
I think you did the best you could do with Constant. This is what I want you to get Paul Stark done.
Yeah, maybe we should. I think we should, right? I wonder
Yes.
what will Constant say to Paul Stores, because Paul Stores has he will start talking and he has the a million narratives, like mirror things to say about it already, all on his mind, and he can say everything in 5 minutes. I don't know.
And then I'll just say too long, didn't listen.
But Constant, did you listen to any of the Paul Stores videos explaining this, or no?
No,
Just
I
drive
don't think
chain.
so.
You
Yeah, I've but that's years ago. I haven't looked into drive chains in the last couple of years. I just
Yeah,
did.
but you should
I,
look at Hive Mind. Hive Mind is the deal. It's a different thing. It's not related to drive chain, except very indirectly. So you might you might understand if Post Source explains it.
okay, okay.
Okay, no more
It's
topics.
also it's also uh so when I say it's like it's replacing warfare, that's that's where it becomes interesting because it doesn't, because there's always the dimension of warfare. So if there is like a million zillion blocks placed on a bet one way, then you just gather an army and force reality into the opposite direction and get rich as fuck, right?
You can't force stuff with an
Of
army.
course you can. Of course you can
You
force
can't force
reality.
the economy.
If you have enough guys with spears, you can force reality every which way you want it to go.
But also,
Okay,
when you put all the money on one side, you make it much cheaper for the other side to bet against you.
Yeah, so I instead of spending my money on betting, I spent my money. I place a little bit of money on the other side and use the rest of my money in order to raise an army, or tweak whatever
okay.
metric
Suppose
the
suppose
bet
you're
is based on.
betting on the result of a soccer game. How can an army change that?
That one's really easy. We just kidnap all the children of all the players involved.
Okay, okay.
I mean, wow, is that difficult?
Okay, I just wanted to understand what was your point. Yeah. Okay.
So when are we gonna start our gang of thugs, Jeff?
What gang of thugs? You want to
Yeah,
create a state?
yeah, no, yeah. Well, maybe if we're good enough, we can create a competing state instead of this. What was it, Liberlandstad
Yeah,
commune?
they were
Yeah.
stuck.
Do they have an army?
No, not at all.
Yeah, so there are a bunch of pussies that are going to fail, right?
They're pretty much
It's-
just hippies,
yes.
libertarian hippies.
So instead of what you should do is you go to prediction markets, take the implausible bet, use whatever means you have in order to force the bet to go your way, get rich, repeat until you're the new top dog, and then you can create whatever state you want. Right? You can laugh at Zelensky. It's like, haha, I can buy all the tanks I want. I don't have to beg everyone else.
I don't
That's how you
think
do
that
it.
will work, right? You need to people to believe you are a legitimate state for this to work. Otherwise, they will just refuse to sell you the tanks and
No,
put you
but
in jail.
that's so that's done via the church, right? So you get legitimacy via the church. So we have the new religion currently. So the global homo religion. It's about gay prides, right? So Zelensky is able to gain the legitimacy on the fact that he's organizing gay prides, and that so there's not a specific pope, but we sort of have like the pope. So the general pope institution now declared them to be a holy state, so that it requires a holy war in order to maintain it. So that's how it works. So you just have to identify the current church at that point and get them to legitimize you. You just say whatever. It's like, I am Catholic now, or I am Protestant now, or say whatever they want you to say in order for them to legitimize your claim as emperor. That's how the world works.
Yeah, it does make sense. Actually, the current religion is no, never mind. That doesn't work. Why
And
are
the
you
current
talking
current
about
current
that?
current- the current
Did,
current religion is the current religion. The tenets of the current religion is diversity and inclusion, right? In
yeah,
the name of diversity and inclusion, amen. That's the current stuff, right? So instead of saying Christ all the time, you say diversity and inclusion.
yeah. There are too many people doing that already. You have to identify the next one and be the next one before it gets big. You'll be the first.
Maybe Bitcoin is going to be there's going to be the Bitcoin religion. So I think maybe
I
the
think.
Gregory Maxwell is going to be the next pope. Well, he
Well,
already is, right? Within the Bitcoin world, that was the whole point you made last time, where you say it needs the endorsement of Gregory Maxwell in order for it to go through. So
did
he's
you
the
know?
Bitcoin pope.
Did you know any Prevout is live on Signet?
Yes, that's also what you mentioned, uh, like 2 episodes ago.
Did you know that, Sikander?
Yeah,
No.
I probably heard it on the last podcast episode.
Very
Oh,
good.
why did you call the last episode 10, Fia?
I got confused with the numbers, so I've changed that now. It's all fixed.
Is it? Did you change the title?
And you know that the last episode is not yet on the RSS feed.
Also true. Yeah. So, Mr. Producer, what's going on? Why is why isn't our last episode on the RSS feed?
Well, I've been on vacation, so you know
Ah,
Why didn't you set
it will
up a
when it comes.
automatic pipeline to get stuff from YouTube and publish to the automatically?
Yeah, that would have been nice.
so if you're listening and you think like I'm not from Norway and I'm able to be an actual good producer, get into contact with Jeff. So we're able to ditch
Please.
Sikander.
Why with Fit Jeff? Get in contact with Sikander, the current producer. How do you get value for value podcasting 2.0 on the podcast? I think we could get a fair amount of money from that.
It's relatively easy. I mean, especially you should be able to get it
No,
working.
I hate Lightning. I hate all this stuff.
Okay, well,
Seriously, seriously.
we'll look into it, and then we'll have a value for value, and then we can ask people to send us money,
Should
which is
we?
definitely gonna work. How much how much money do we want in order to continue the podcast, via Jeff?
Yeah,
Because
we should use that same strategy the Unhashed podcast did. Like,
yes, so
you need to give me.
Colin said that he estimated it to be $2,400 because his hourly rate is $300, and he thought it would be fair for the rest as well. So that's $300 per person, something like that.
$300 per person per episode. Nice.
Yeah, and then I think two a month or something. That would that math would work out, right? So yeah. So first question: do you think they're gonna be able to get $2,400 a month for the Unhashed podcast?
No, you know he had done that already, like in the past. You remember that? He asked for money. Some people gave, but not enough. And then the Peter McCormack paid for a year of the podcast or something like that. And then they got the sponsorship from that scammy company that lends Bitcoin.
What did
They,
you
they
think
got
about
they
letting?
got hired by that company. They got Mario, and
Uh-huh.
then Mario went there, and then apparently Mario got disillusioned and went to do other less important
No, he
things.
said he's still bullish on Ledin, but he's not working there anymore.
Yeah, well, who cares what he's bullish on? He's very wrong about everything.
I do think it's very interesting that so I think Ledin got out reasonably okay, but most of all this Bitcoin lending stuff completely just collapsed. People lose their money.
Yeah, they were using the you deposit your coins there, and they use that to buy shit coins and gain yield from shit coins. So in my mind, they were lending the Bitcoin to people so people could short sell the Bitcoins.
Well,
Like,
that is what you're doing if you're that's obviously what you're doing if you're
yeah,
lending
but
out your Bitcoin.
if you're only betting on the Bitcoin price to go down, like that's what I think. That's what I thought. But actually, they were not doing that. They were taking the coins and trading them for shit coins and then staking the shit coins.
But
Or
are you sure Ledin did this, or are you just talking in
no,
general?
it's a very indirect thing. Like lended to other. Wow.
Oh, to another party that actually did it.
And the other
I see.
party
Yeah.
sent to other place, and the other place sent to another place, and then they did it.
So Sikander, did you lend out your Bitcoin last cycle?
No, I borrowed.
Ah,
Really?
how did that work out?
It's not finished yet, so but it's looking very good.
What do you mean? You borrowed Bitcoin, and then you put that into shit coins to you stuff?
Uh, yeah, I don't remember what it's called any longer, but yeah, I borrowed Bitcoin for a year.
Interesting. Interesting.
And what did you do with the Bitcoin?
I held it.
Really? So you borrowed in dollar terms, and then you bought Bitcoin with that?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, makes sense.
And you're up
yeah, I'm up.
in the last year. Did you? How did you do that? The market tanked, right?
Luck. Everything is luck.
I
Pretty
guess
much.
that is true. So maybe with that truth we have to end this because I'm I honestly. Do you have any topics, Jeff?
No, please, let's end.
Yes. Okay. So, because everything is luck, we wish our producer all the luck in the world, especially on his vacation. We wish Fiat Jeff all the luck in dodging all the traffic going through his living room, and we wish our audience luck with getting their way through this fucking podcast. This
I
was
think it's time to end this podcast, right?
this was a trap, right? We've wasted people's time
But
so damn
honestly,
hard.
the last one was worse. So if you didn't listen to the last one, you should check out.
You can compare. All right. Next
Bye.
week we're gonna have a topic. I promise.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye.